Welcome back to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway here at the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series for the Support Our Troops 200 here at Gateway. As tonight, we've got 160 laps around this very interesting racetrack where they're going to be doing battle. We got to give a special shout out to the sponsor who helped makes it happen here at Sim Racing Unleashed, and that is Budget Sim Boxes. If you're a sim racer on a budget looking for a button box, then Budget Sim Boxes is your source. With several different sizes and functionality options, Budget Sim Boxes will have the button box that fits your price range without breaking the bank. You can head on over to Facebook and search them at Budget Sim Boxes, or also find them in the iRacing flea market on Facebook, where you can get yourself a hold of a Budget Sim Boxes. So make sure you go check them out, as they're the primary sponsor here at Sim Racing Unleashed. But what a night it is here for racing at Gateway. It's going to be a fun action, as I am Zach Hall up in the booth. Alongside me, we'll have David Medina, and we'll have our producer Robert Murray Jr. up in the production box. But David, back here at Sim Racing Unleashed after a week off since Halloween. We're back here at Gateway, though, man. A very interesting and little tricky track, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be back. I'm glad to be up here in the booth with you again. But glad that break's over and we're back on the track. But yeah, this track is a very tricky track. Two different type of corners on each end. The one that going into turn one is just a much narrower. So it's going to be a lot of throttle control. We're going to see who's going to be able to do the best at the throttle control, especially coming off the corners there. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys race this track.
Yeah, it will be fun all night to see who can get around this short but long style racetrack. It's a very interesting one. You know, two different shaped corners. It's going to be fun to watch all the action ensue. And the big question I think a lot of guys have coming in here after our little break, we have the two-time in a row Steven Stimpy, the winner. Can he go for three in a row is going to be the big question I think on a lot of people's minds. I was looking fast in practice. We'll have to see what he can do, because I think he's going to have his arch rival, as always, Mark Whitley there, hounding him on the back bumper.
Yeah, trying to go for three in a row here at this track. And, you know, he's also our points leader. Him and Mark Whitley only separated by 7 points. So I suspect that those guys are going to continue to battle out on this track. So, you know, get buckled up, grab yourself a drink, and get ready to watch some really good racing.
That we are going to have some fantastic racing here tonight at Sim Racing's Unleashes Cup Series. We're in the Gen 6 Cup Series car, as we're here at a 1.25 mile oval here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway. The two turns very opposite of the 3 and 4 turns down there, as you see the drivers starting to attempt their qualifying laps. It's going to be, I think, the talk of the town is how you attack each corner, and it's just completely different than the other side. So it's going to be fun to watch who's fast in what corner and who is struggling in the next.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, tire is every track we have, but this track here, it's really going to come down to who can really take care of their tires. You know, I ran a few practice laps earlier today to get a feel for this track, and just that corner exit, boy, it's just so easy. You get on that throttle a little bit too hard, and you do that enough, and you'll end up burning up that right rear tire.
That you will, David. It's very interesting too. You know, this track I've ran here, not in the Cup Series car. That's actually something I've never experienced here, but I have driven a truck and an Xfinity car around here, and I can tell you both those times we were shifting down in 1 and 2 to get that car, especially later in the run, to rotate. And that's something we're going to have to watch for all night long. Is right now the times are clicking in. Steven Stimpy, though, at the top of the board with Michael Yarrow going to bring it in second, and Mark Whitley their third, as it's a tight gap between those top three.
Yeah, and then, you know what, nobody expected anything else, right? Steve Sippy just been really fast all season long, along with Marco Yoro and Mark Whitley. You know, those guys have just really been putting on a show. You know, the question is going to be is Dave Bush. You know, he's had some difficulties, you know, after his early beginning of the season. So is he able to bounce back here at this track and get himself back up there? You know, only 38 points back from the lead. You know, but this is going to be the time where he'll need to make that run and close that gap up some.
And right now, we're watching the 75 machine, Chuck Sweden, who's, you know, he's been a good breakout star this season here at Sim Racing Unleashed. He has not yet get a win, but he's had multiple podiums, and really ever since he's came in, he has been a factor in the races. I would not put it past him here tonight to be right up there, as this is his first attempt on a lap. We'll see where he can place himself on the board here, as we're about halfway through this qualifying session with only 5 drivers taking time at the moment.
Yeah, and that's a great point about Chuck Sweeting there. I mean, he has since he's come on. He's been around, on every track and up front, and he's had some issues, with connections. That's kind of hurt him a couple of times, but hopefully he'll be able to keep his connection, stay in the race, and make his way to the front. As he has a pretty good qualifying so far in fourth place.
Yeah, right now, a good time for himself there, 33:44 for that 75 machine as he's attempting the second lap here. Looking strong coming out of turn number 4. It's been super fun to watch him do this lap. But one of the big things, coming into this race here this season, race number 6, is the points are really, really close up top. Really thinking about the top 5 in points here. David is Steven Stippian, of course, coming in with those 2 back-to-back wins. He's really positioned himself well, to lead the championship. But 7 points back is only Mark Whitley. Then 30 points back to Jason Adams in third. 31 back to Dakota Bryant in fourth. And in the 5th position there, where your driver you talked about and alluded to, Dave Bush, who's looking to bring some of that momentum back after a good start to the season. He's 38 back in 5th. So right now, very close between our top 5 in points. And remember, about 7 races left till those playoffs kick off. We got still a decent portion of the season to go before we get to those playoffs, but anything can be made in these next few races.
Yeah, and looking at the standings here, and both Stympian and Mark Whitley have 2 wins so far this year. Really, the only difference that separates them is Steve Stympian has 5 top 5s, and Mark Whitley has 4 top 5s and 5 top 10s. So really close battle between those guys, and those guys, Jason Adams and Dakota Bryant, all still within striking distance. So this is going to be could be a pivotal track for these guys that try and close that margin down. And the way this track is, as slick as it is, anything can happen. Any driver can get caught up in something. It could end up being a good point day for some, and not so good of a point day for others.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, David. It's definitely going to be one of those nights of unknown. This track here, very unknown for me. Unfortunately, is like I said, I've had a few races under my belt this racetrack, but not many to where I can have such a good knowledge of what is going to play out. So we're all going to be in for a learning experience here tonight, as that is it. The last few seconds of qualifying tick away. It looks like Steven Stympian, he's going to outlast the rest of the field there and get the pole position here tonight at Gateway for the Support Our Troops 200. As we'll look to pull up our grid, here it is. Steven Stympian starting from the pole position, trying to go 3 in a row from the win column here, leading us in the points tonight. Second's going to be Michael Yarrow on that 9 machine. Third is going to be Mark Whitley, our second place man in points. Fourth's going to be Chuck Sweeting in the 75 machine. Fifth going to go to Dakota Bryant in the 58 car. Sixth going to be James Bryant. Seventh going to go to Brad Delph. Eighth's going to be Larry Blair. Ninth going to go to Brandon Hartwell. And rounding out your top 10 here tonight is Dave Bush in the 53.
You got Mike Chamberlain taking the 11th spot, followed there by Clifton Ashley. Coming in the 13th spot is going to be Benjamin Butler, and then Jason Adams starting with him. Mark Koscheck will be starting in 15th, followed by Robert Cheeswick.
And that is your starting grid here tonight for the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series from the Worldwide Technology Raceway, as we get ready for all the drivers to grid up and pull away from the starting grid. It is going to be a fun night of racing action here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Again, thank you all for tuning in as always here at Sim Racing Unleashed and Freaky Fast Broadcasting, where we bring you action every Sunday night. It's been a Sunday night off since we were out of here for Halloween, so it's good to be back here like usual on Sunday nights, calling some great racing action, as I'm sure everybody got to see some great racing action out there on the real life side of things as the NASCAR season closed out. But guess what? The NASCAR season doesn't close out here at Freaky Fast. We're going to have racing all throughout the holidays and majority of these next 2 months coming up. It's going to be fun to see these races all transpire during the winter season. So make sure, if you haven't yet subscribed to Freaky Fast Broadcasting, hit that bell notification button to keep yourself notified with all the races we have going on through here, as you may need a little racing action to fill your time here. So Freaky Fast Broadcast is the first place to do that here. And we would love if you would definitely subscribe. But they're rolling off the grid here, David. What a race we got here tonight at Worldwide Technology Raceway, man. I'm excited to see how this one's going to play out with this track. Like I said, one of the more uncommon tracks we see. It's going to be a wild one, man.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think it's going to be a wild one. And just like you, so much unknown for me at this track as well. Done some practice laps on it, but never actually raced on it. So it'll be fun to see these guys, how they start off on fresh tires, and as their tires wear on, how they work the line. Do they end up downshifting going into 1 and 2? So a lot of unknowns, and I'm looking forward to seeing these guys just put their skills to work here.
I have to see, can Steven Stipien win 3 in a row here at Sim Racing Unleashed's Cup Series. He's been on somewhat of a roll. Last season wasn't able to get the championship as it was a full season standings. As you can see, the driver behind him, the Mark 77 of Mark Whitley, he's our 2-time defending series champion. He wants to get that 3rd series championship as the pace car pulls in. We're getting ready for the action to start here tonight. To support our troops 200 here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Green flag is out, and we're off and away. As Steven Stipien lighting the rear tires up, he is going to have a big checkup. As now Yarrow going to take the lead down to 1.
Yeah, coming into 1 here, it's a very tight turn. So you see these guys getting on the brakes and trying to get that car to rotate, and then pick up the throttle here gently and try and stay off that wall there as they go 2 or 3 wide.
3 wide back throughout the pack. Dakota Bryan in the 58. He's in the sucker hole. He got dropped back from that 5th position, almost back to the 9th to 10th position there on that first lap. As they come off of 4, they're going to be side by side here. Chuck Sweeten and Mark Whitley for that 3rd position. Is throughout the field. They try to gain any spot they can here for the open 160 laps.
Got Mike Yarrow just taking that lead and hanging on, doing a good job running that high line. So yeah, that restart there, we saw Stipien just kind of get loose right off the bat. So something to keep in the back of your mind if we do have restarts and the guys are starting on old tires, as to how many guys we see spinning those tires and what kind of cautions or issues we might see with that.
Looking back at our 3rd place man, Mark Whitley finally able to clear the 75 of Chuck Sweeten to take that 3rd position, as the field now all comes off of 4, dead single file throughout the field. We've got it all single filed out now 3 laps in. But I tell you what, our pole setter, Steven Stipien, he wants to get the lead back in the 81. He's going to dive to the inside of Michael Yarrow in 1 and 2. Not able to get all the way to the quarter panel of the 9. But that 81 looking very strong. As look at this, Chuck Sweeten, a big run for him or Mark Whitley.
Yeah, definitely a good run there. Looks like he might have got a little bit loose, coming off the exit there, and allowed the 75 there to close up on him.
Great battle here, as it looks like behind that there, Brad Delph was able to make the pass on James Bryan in the 52 machine. He's starting to drop back a little bit, so Delph breaks into the top 5 here early in the going, as up front Yarrow hanging on to the lead. The field still single file as they race through lap number 4.
Yeah, we talked about our familiarity with this track here, and just kind of curious to how many other drivers maybe this is their first time actually racing on this track. So you got some guys probably just trying to get a feel for it. You can practice all you want, but when you get onto the track with some other cars, it's a whole different ball game. I think right off the bat, you can see some guys, such as Yarrow, that he looks pretty comfortable running this track.
Yeah, and we just see it from the rear chase cam of Mark Whitley. He makes the pass on Steven Stipien, who crossed them back over there side by side down the back straightaway, down into 3. As we look back to Chuck Sweeten, it's a side-by-side battle for the 2nd place position. What a run for Whitley. Can he get it done? Again, Stipien lighting the rears up, coming out of 4. Mark Whitley going to take over the 2nd spot. Now Chuck Sweeten maybe looking to slide past the 81 to get to the outside, but it looks like Stipien going to hold on to 3rd here.
Yeah, doing a good job to trying to hang on to that car. And, we talked about it in the pre-race. That exit there is just so easy as the track flattens out. You see there the car coming off, and the tail end just wants to kick around. So it looks like some of these guys fighting this, a little early on, and unfortunately, it's not going to get any better, I don't think, as this tire where it kicks in. The fuel burn off could help it a little bit, but I still think that right rear will get heated up, and that tire spin will continue on.
I think somebody got into the wall near the back of the pack. It might have been the 52 of James Bryan. Going back and look at it, just got very, very close for him. Actually, no contact for that 52. But right now, a lot of drivers flirting with that wall, David. It's showing you how difficult and how tough this track is. Is now Chuck Sweeten going to the inside of 81 of Steven Stipien.
Yeah, exactly. The practice laps that I ran that's exactly what was happening. As you come off right about here, the car definitely floats up, and you can see that 77 there, just the rear end again kicking out on him. And that's exactly what happens. Is that if you're coming off the corner, if the track flattens out and that wall just wants to jump up and grab you. These guys doing a good job. And one thing I'm just kind of noticing, some of the different lanes, some of the guys are running, some are a little bit higher than others. So all these guys are just really trying to get a feel for where their car is going to run best at.
It really is impressive, and man, I tell you, we're already seeing a good bit of fall off in the first 8 laps, upwards of around a second of fall off. So it is definitely a a track that, like you said earlier in the race, talking about tire wear, and also talking about that right rear tire coming off these corners. It's going to be a place where you got to really keep the tire wear underneath you if you want to have a fast day. Here is Whitley trying to track down Michael Yarrow, stepping, trying to hold on to everything it's worth in that third spot as he tries to get it all figured out right here. Started on pole, just hasn't had the great start though for him, trying to go 3 in a row now.
Yeah, I gotta give credit to these drivers. It's this track is tricky. There's 2 different types of corners, and no cautions. We've really seen some guys kind of get loose and get their rear end kicked out a little bit, but no cautions. So hats off to these guys to be able to do that so far in this race. And as we start seeing these cars starting to spread out a little bit.
Definitely starting to spread out here, as you're going to see that tire wear really come into fruition as they all come off a turn 2, looking down the back straightaway. And this track has just got such an awkward feel to it, but it's for me, I'm a type of driver I like, just the 2 different sides of the racetrack, having 2 different completely objectives to complete. His man, again, the 81 is Stimpy. He is just having a tough time out of 4 here tonight, putting the power down as everybody else in front of him seems to be pretty solid off of 4.
Yeah, this track is kind of misleading because that car begins to rotate, and you think, okay, I can go ahead and hammer down that throttle, and then as you do that, then you start coming out that exit there. It says nope, not yet. So these guys definitely have their hands full. I think it's going to be what these guys are going to have all race long. But just a great car control that these guys are showing. Especially Scythian there. He's had it happen a few times to him, but it's be able to maintain it, keep it under control.
Definitely has been able to control, at least maintain a little bit here now as Stimpy in that 3rd position, hanging on to everything he is worth. But I tell you what, right now, it's about a 3-second gap between our top 6, but back all the way to Dave Bush, it's about 5 seconds in that McDonald's machine in that 53. He is right now up 3 spots from where he started, but a sizable gap back to him. But right now, definitely up some positions. That's looking good for Dave Bush, and he's a driver we're looking to see if he can get some of that momentum back from the start of this season.
Yeah, I'm going to take a minute just to kind of comment on some of these guys' paint scheme. Dave Bush does his own paint schemes. Just does a fantastic job with them, and I'm really liking the Steve Scythian scheme that he's running tonight. It looks really sharp.
Yeah, they definitely are looking very good. Always got good looking schemes out here at Sim Racing Unleashed as Dave held on to that 7th spot. Behind him, it's going to be the 52 of James Bryant and Dakota Bryant. Both these drivers having some interesting seasons. Some points, some highs, some lows, but also some free hugs, from Dakota Bryant. We always love to see that as we hop on board with him here. He started in 5th. He dropped back to 9th very early, was almost 3-4 wide at some points there. And right now, hanging on to that 9th spot behind James. He's doing everything in his power, kind of searching around the racetrack looking for something. Yeah,
I think it'd be great if we could stay in this car with him, kind of go another lap with him, and just kind of watch the car control. So going into the corner is not that difficult. We brake, and then we start getting on the throttle here, and we saw in the last corner. I don't know if we'll see it here on him, but had to do a little bit of correction there. 2 cars up, you can kind of see he got loose and went towards the inside wall and was able to save it.
Yeah, great correction from this driver here, Dakota Bryant, in the 58 machine. He's now going to navigate 1 and 2 here, get a good run up off of turn 2 there. Directly ahead of him, though, James Bryant got a little bit better launch. He's going to be able to yard him a little bit there, put a car length gap in between them as they head down to 3 and 4. The more long corner. This corner is very long, and it just continues on forever. It feels like if you touch those curbs, too, those curbs can be very dangerous. They will definitely unload that race car and send it into somewhat of a slide.
Yeah, definitely not your friend. That curb and that left front just don't have a good relationship. Some tracks you can get away with going down there and helping that car rotate, but this track it does not work. So these guys, you might see them get close down to that line and stuff, but they'll definitely stay off those rumble strips.
Right now, got a battle flaring up here for the 10th position. Larry Blair in the 73. He's under attack from Benjamin Butler in the 55, who's really put some pressure on him. He's got to his inside multiple times now here in this 10th and 11th position, but just has not been able to complete the pass. And even behind that, Mark Koschik with Robert Cheswick and Jason Adams, or no, sorry, and Mike Chamberlain racing back here for position. Really good spots here for 13th, 14th, and 12th. So position switching back and forth here in the around lap 17. This really starting to show tire wear, and some drivers picking up the pace, some drivers starting to struggle.
Yeah, and speaking of struggling, Steve Sempion, our points leader, has dropped 3 positions, and we saw early on where he was struggling with that right rear, just kind of kick out on him, and I think he's maybe heated up that tire, and you just got to try and ride it out and hope it cools down and make his way back up to the front. But so far, our biggest movers has been Brandon Hartwell and Dave Bush, who just picked up 3 positions.
Yeah, some really good times being turned by a few of these guys. Looking at Brandon Hartwell and Brad Delp, they're in 5th and 6th position right now. They're starting to close in with Steven Stippian, and Hartwell turning pretty much close times to what the leader is running there. Delph was one of actually the fastest car of the top 6. So right now, some good times being turned throughout this whole entire top 6 group. These drivers in the first 20 laps filling it out this racetrack and trying to make time around it. Is that time by there, Yarrow. Actually, Chuck Sweeten much quicker than anybody on the racetrack there in the 75. So he's starting to put a gap on Steven Stippian there to build up to 30.
Yeah, we're coming up to finish our lap 19 and coming to lap 20. We kind of talked about this pre-race about whether these guys would end up downshifting. Going into turns 1 and 2 there. So it'd be curious to see as we move on a few more laps if we see any of these guys actually doing that or not. I think there's some advantages and disadvantages to doing that, but that's why I'm up here in the broadcast booth and not in the cars, because these guys are pretty talented to be able to handle it.
That they are, David. As you can see, Chuck Sweeten, he's really starting to shrink the gap down to Mark Whitley in the 77 for 2nd position. I've raced with the 75 before, and this guy is sneaky fast. He was some races just blow your doors off, and you say, man, where did all the speed come from? And that's what I love about Chuck Sweeten, is he's showing again here tonight. He's got that sneaky speed, able to just claw his way forward as the run goes on. And right now, Mark Whitley, he's got the pressure of the 75 all over the back deck leg of that 77.
Yeah, he definitely does. And if Whitley has any issues with being loose, having Chuck right behind him isn't going to help him. But yes, Sweeney doing a fantastic job already. 21 laps in here, just running his race, being patient, letting the car come to him, not abusing his tires, and it's definitely showing. As his last lap time there was a 34.92.
As he gets closer to the back bumper to 77, he'll lose performance too on that nose. That's what we call the dirty air. As he gets closer and closer to the front end of this car, going to work less and less. That's going to give Whitley an advantage here to try to stay ahead. And right now, Chuck Sweeten needs to be able to get to the bumper, but just has not had the chance to get the run off right now. As you can see, that sun, man, David, that sun is very bright down in the 3 with its sunset right now. That's pretty tough till that thing goes down.
Yeah, it is. Really difficult to be able to see. It's it hits you right in the eyeballs there, and it kind of makes it difficult to kind of hit your marks and stuff. But a few more laps and that sun will go down. But you got to give credit. But one thing I'm a little curious to watch, that you were kind of alluding to it earlier, is that these guys are running single file. What we haven't really seen a lot is a lot of passing. Now that the car is kind of separated and stretched out a little bit. So what is the best preferred line here to try and make that pass? So we really be watching to see where these guys are choosing to make those passes at.
That's definitely something we're gonna have to watch for, David, to see where is the optimal group, where is the place to make the pass, where do you get to someone's outside and hold them down, or do you get to the inside and just get the power off on them? As right now, Whitley, a little slide up in front of the 77 of Chuck Sweeten. He's closed within half a car length here. We'll see if he has anything for him going down here to 3 or 4. Not going to be close enough right now, as Michael Yarrow continues to lead out front. He's been smooth sailing ever since the start. And tell you what, Yarrow. Oh, and I just say that he hits the inside wall and wrecks.
Oh wow, yeah, that's gonna be a heartbreak for him to have that happen like that, leading the race.
What a moment there. Just was talking about Yarrow, how his race was going great, and all of a sudden off of 4 loses the rear. That right rear just going away and smacks the inside wall to tear up the left front on the next car. And man, oh man, our leader goes all the way back from the lead, all the way back to 4.5 seconds back now from Mark Whitley. Is that battle between Whitley and Sweeting? That will now be the battle for the lead. This has opened up everything for everybody.
It definitely has, and it's just something we talked about from the beginning, which is, just how inviting it is to jump on that throttle, when you think that car is rotating and pointing in the right direction. And, as tire wears on, like you said, it's just grip is going to be harder and harder to get in these cars. And unfortunately for Yarrow, he was experiencing that firsthand.
Right now running on the back deck lid of the 24. Jason Adams sees the car about to be under threat to get a lap down here on lap 15. Our third place man at points. He will go a lap down here on lap 27 as Whitley and Sweeting charge by. Sweeting took a look there off of the corner, just could not get the power down. Whitley holding on to the lead, but I tell you what, Steven Stippian, it was looking bad for him at one moment, but now it seems like he's starting to stabilize in that 81, turning some pretty quick times.
Yeah, he's definitely has adjusted to this track pretty well here. Looks like to his early on struggles. Looks like he's just been able to ride around and get it situated, and now it's settled in and working his way back up.
The question also is here, David. The 75 all over the back deck lid of the 77, who's looking very, very loose right now. But my thing is, you run that close behind someone, it usually starts to hurt the tires at some point. When does Chuck Sweeting have to back off, or when does he have to get aggressive and make the move? Because I feel like running there directly behind him for so long, it just hurts the tires so bad.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's usually what we talk about is that, when you catch somebody, and you ride in their wake, it usually really affects your tires because you're taking that air off that nose. But I think a lot of it also is that you're trying to figure out where are you better than the car in front of you, and then how are you going to utilize that to try and make the pass. And I really think that in order to make a pass here, you have to either get a really good run off the exit, to set up the inside, or you're going to have to be close coming into the turn, get close to that rear bumper of the car in front of you, and see if you can't take the air off and make it a little loose and have him go out of your groove.
There it is. Look at that pass there from Brandon Hartwell on to Brad Delph. He's going to take position from Brad there to take fourth. So Hartwell really climbing his way through the ranks, and he's been he was upwards of 3 seconds back from the lead, now within 2.6 of the lead. So he's doing a great job. But I tell you what, Chuck Sweeting has not let up on Mark Whitley. He has kept that 77 right to the back bumper of the 75. I feel like the only thing separating the 75 and the 77 is the 76, David.
Yeah, exactly. And just kind of looking at the lap times here, Chuck Sweety's lap time was a 35:33, and Brendan Hartwell running in the fourth position, and his lap time was a 35:33. So some of the faster lap times that we're seeing right now.
As you can see, they're working their way past Jason Adams in the 24. Some lap traffic there for that 25 of Hartwell. Hartwell is a driver who I expected when they changed his Gen 6 car, he was going to be a breakout star in this car. Hasn't came to fruition yet, but could tonight be that chance as again we get that shot of coming through turn 3 and 4. You get blinded for a good 3 to 4 seconds there. That's a tough situation to be in as a driver out here, but these guys are putting in so many laps, and they can almost drive with their eyes on. I'm blindfolded around here.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely distracting, but these guys definitely do a good job of finding their mark to be able to turn, and like you said, they have that stuff memorized. So you're at lap 32, and if I'm not mistaken, that's about a half a fuel around there. So it'll be got probably another 30 laps before we start seeing you guys come down pit road.
Yeah, that seems about right, David. I would, if you can make it 80, you want to go to 80, of course, because you can one-stop this thing. But I don't know, 1.25 mile racetrack going 80 laps on a full tank, it's going to be a tough situation to be in. So we'll have to see how far they do elect the strategy. Is right now Whitley's still holding on to the lead. As Sweeting, he's still just all of the tire tracks of our leader, but just has not been able to get it done so far. It's an interesting battle right now, especially with our top three all just turned the same lap times.
Yeah, and then just looking at Hartwell's last lap time there, You know, he had a 35.21, so faster than our leaders.
You can see he's really looking good. He's the only 3 cars ahead of him right there are Steven Stippy and Chuck Sweet and Mark Whitley. As that is your top 3. We're riding on board with Hartwell. He's trying his best to run them down here. As you know, a long race still to go, so no reason to train anything too crazy. But I tell you what, you know, these guys are looking to have some fun and have some good racing, and that's definitely what they're showing so far.
Yeah, and then we're riding around with Hartwell. You know, we saw earlier where guys were just really having issues, you know, coming off the exits, and you saw on that ride along there with him that you really didn't see his car jump out at all. So not only is he laying down fast laps, but it looks like his car is pretty happy with the line he's chosen to run here.
Now we jump back here to Dave Bush. He's got passed by Dakota Bryant, and James Bryant now putting pressure on the back of that 53 coming off of 2. You got these guys all battling back here. Is Dakota, who started 5th, dropped back on 9th, drove his way up to 7th. This is a great recovery for a few of these guys, but now Dave Bush there getting passed by the 52. James Bryant, that's going to set him back to 9th and 1 spot up from where he started.
Yeah, going back to Yara, who had that you know, issue earlier on, riding about 5 seconds, almost 5.5 seconds back of the leader. So I'm sure he's a little bit frustrated with what happened there, but you know, you just got to realize it's still a long race, still got some pit stops to go. But again, what a credit to all these drivers here. You know, 36 laps into it, no cautions. Definitely didn't see that coming in, to be honest with you. I expected to have a caution early on, and it didn't happen. And now these guys are a little bit more spread out. So it's good to see. We're going to be. Looks like we're going to be in for some very long runs.
I think you're right about that, David. I think we're going to be on board for a lot of long runs tonight. Is right now, Whitley though, our leader, he's starting to open the gap up. It's about 3 car lengths now back to Chuck Sweeten in that 75. And I tell you, who's really fell off a cliff is Steven Stippy in 81, about 3 seconds back now, and Brandon Hartwell all over him as he closes in for that 3rd position.
Yeah, going a little bit farther back too. We got Cliff Ashley. Looks like he's gone ahead and pit for the night, and then we have Robert, the number 6 car there, who went ahead and pit. So we'll see how that plays out for these guys. But still got about 12 cars on the lead lap.
Everybody continuing on here at the Worldwide Technology Raceways for the Support Our Troops 200. It's been a fantastic night of racing so far here at Gateway. But I tell you what, David, we got a pretty interesting race coming up after this one too. You know, this track 1.25 miles, so 1.25 miles there. But I tell you what, next week we're only going a half mile, as we're going to be at the Martinsville Speedway for the Freaky Fast 250. Back in the next gen cars on the 1 week away from the day on Sunday. That race is going to be a crazy one, nonetheless. Also to say,
yeah, it's definitely going to be a great show to watch these guys run on that Martinsville track. This track here is interesting in itself. It's got like 2 long straightaways, and then real sharp turn coming into one. Kind of give you the short track feeling, trying to get in there and rotate through those corners and stuff. So pretty unique in the way this track's configured.
Right here, a little bit of a battling going on. Cheswick in the 6, in the 55, or sorry, that was Kozchik in the 33, and Benjamin Butler in the 55. That's the change for 10th on the racetrack. Great job by Kozchik, who's up 4 spots from his 14th starting position. He's only about half a second away from Dave Bush, too. He's closing in on here. I tell you what, man, Kozchik really starting to drive up to the back bumper of the 53. He could be looking to break into the top 9.
Yeah, he's having a really good run, up 5 positions. So, well down 6 positions. So definitely had a great start to this race, and took care of his tires, and definitely showing off right now.
Yeah, it seems like Dave Bush just starting to struggle right here in the 53. Right now it's the 55 here. He's going to come with a slight run, but he's going to back out of it. But Dave Bush, who started 10th, he worked his way all the way up to that 7th position, was close to 6th even at one point, but has just not had the long run speed or the pace just to help him out as he continues to drop through our lineup right now, as he's back to the 11th position.
Yeah, that was a good show there. We just got to watch, Butler just backing up that corner and really allowed him to, get a good run off to make that pass through past Dave Bush there. So yeah, Dave Bush struggling a little bit, lap 42. So might have just ran a little bit hard and heated up his tires and stuff. But we'll see if Dave's able to work his way back up there. I suspect we're gonna have some green flag pit stops. And, that's going to be interesting to watch these guys come on this pit road as well. It's not this difficult to get on, but it's kind of a weird type pit entry.
Any pit road, in my opinion, is difficult enough. I've seen so many mistakes. And by the time up here in the booth, anything can happen on pit road. So you got to be on your A game at all times. There's Brad Delph here in the 14. He was all the way up to that 5th position, but now he's down one more spot back to 6th, and he's really started to fall off from Brandon Hartwell, who drove away from him, and Michael Yarrow, who had that incident, who even got that damage, drove back by him. Who Yarrow, really his lap times for that damage, he's running only a 10th slower than our leader. It's going to be interesting if he can get that thing fixed up.
Yeah, if he can get that thing fixed back up and and stay on the lead lap, it could spell trouble for some of these guys because he was running really well at the beginning of this race here. Just probably to me looked like one of the best drivers that felt the most comfortable on this track.
And right now, Chuck Sweeting still hounding the back bumper of Mark Willey. I'm not sure if we can get an onboard ride from Chuck Sweeting because I'm not sure. I wonder if they are shifting right now at this point with this 75 machine. We'll have to ride on board here with them and see what it's like to look at the back of the 77 of Mark Whitley. That little spoiler all over the back deck lid. They're going to drive all the way down to one nice and low on the curb and no shifting there. So I believe this is all out 4th gear. And this is great to see here between these two. A great battle between the 77 and 75.
Yeah, that was a great shot there. You saw him, kind of gain on the entry there, and then, end up losing it there on exit. So, he's taking a little more aggressive entry than, than Whitley is. But these two guys are doing a fantastic job, racing close to each other all race long. So just interesting to watch. And like I said, this turn here is such a tight turn. But these guys are doing a fantastic job and keeping their cars under control, even after 47, 46 laps, on their tires.
As you can see, he's all still there all over the back deck lid. I mean, he's getting everything it's worth right now, trying to get position on Mark Willey. I gotta say, Chuck Sweeting is one of the more drivers who will do this. He's not going to move you out the way. He's not going to get too overzealous or try to push the issue. He is going to be a very patient driver, and he's going to take the position when you make a mistake. And right now, Whitley, you got to give him credit. I mean, it shows why he's a 2-time champion here at SRU. He is not cracked under the pressure. Look at this big slide from him off of turn 2. Does this give the 75 a chance down here into 3? He's got the run this time. He's going to take a slight look, but just not there in time. David, again, he's showing how quick he is. If he gets out in front, he may be able to somewhat drive away.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if he gets past Mark Whitley there. If he's able, like you said, to drive away and stuff, is really holding him up, son. But again, I just gotta think it's so difficult to pass on this track. But one thing I was kind of watching, Chuck do is was running a little bit lower or a little bit higher than Whitley was, just to try and keep that air on the nose there to keep that car rotating. So it looks like he's making some adjustments on the line that he's running.
That's the thing you got to do as a driver from the driver's seat. We don't have too many adjustments from the driver's seat. We do have brake bias to help, somewhat balance the car on the entry for us, especially if we're using brake. But man, the other tool we have is going searching for grip and searching for clean air. And I think that's one of the most valuable tools as a driver is having the comfortability to go outside your box or something. You can see he goes up higher here in the center of the corner, but brings it back down lower. Both of them definitely wiggling a little bit off the corner, but man, nonetheless, you got to search and find something and make something happen. And even if you're just that close as the 75 is, he's just put pressure all over the back bumper to 77.
Yeah, and like you were talking about earlier, really no need for Chuck to try and press the issue. Just keep doing what you're doing. See if that number 77, Mark Willey, makes any mistake, and if he does, you'll be there to make, pounce on it. But I just kind of watching Steve Sipian there on the 81. He's had a few moments there coming off the corners again where he was a little bit loose. The previous lap, coming off turn 4 there, that the rear end kicked out on him. So looks like he's still having a little bit of issues with that rear end. Just wanted to step out.
Yeah, it seems like that's just been a reoccurring issue for him tonight here. Is he's been quick, he's been consistent, he's been able to keep it within 2.5 seconds of our leader here, of Mark Whitley. But at the same time, it's just not been the night he needs to go 3 in a row. Maybe you never know, a caution here to somewhat reset this race, put in a different a different start to it. He could do something a little different, but even the track is going to change today. We can't allude to that also. I mean, it's sunset right now. As the night goes on, the track's going to get cooler and cooler. It may come to his favor. It may go the other way. That's the beauty of racing, and we can't wait to see it as we now get our weather up here. You can see exactly what tonight's weather is like here on the racetrack at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. As you can see, we got an 86-degree track temperature with an 83-degree air temperature out there on the surface. So very cool at the same time. As it, being somewhat hot for it being as cool as it is there. So a southeast wind switched to an east wind about 3 mile an hour, and also 60% humidity. Got some good weather out here tonight for some good racing that we're seeing.
Yeah, that 60% humidity definitely adds a little bit of slickness to this track. So I'm sure these guys are ready for the sun to set, for this track temperature to drop, and get a little more grip out there. So you're right. When the track temperature drop and we get a little bit later into the race, we could see some cars that are struggling, and then when the sun goes down, they might see their car come back and handle the way they were hoping it would.
Did it definitely plenty of times before. Wow, Steven Stippian, he just tried something either way different, or he just missed the corner. He just down into one, just really missed the corner, almost got up through the wall, and his gap back to Brandon Hartwell has definitely closed in somewhat significantly.
Yeah, and then just kind of keeping an eye on the leaders there. Last lap by Mark Whitley was a 35.42, and then Chuck's was a 35.33. So the Chuck's still just staying there, and he might lose a little bit, but he's able to gain it right back. Just staying on the bumper of that leader. So if there is a mistake, he's going to be able to make that happen. As we see Stippian here, getting some close racing, behind him. But hopefully he'll be able to get back up and make a run back towards the front. But you got to give a lot of credit for what Hartwell's been doing so far the first 54 laps of this race.
Oh, no doubt, Hartwell has been definitely one of the drivers of the night so far. This has been a driver from that ninth starting position. Is really, once he's got his team Stippian kind of stalled out and hasn't lost much time either. So got to give him credit there. And again, credit Chuck Sweet, who's been, within 2/10 of Mark Whitley for, I'd say, the last 30 laps. It's if we talk to Whitley in this race, he's going to probably be talking about all that 75 he's seen behind, because man, he is just not letting up, and he is keeping the pressure on.
Definitely is, and we see Dave Bush moving up, let these guys go by. To Dave Bush running in the 10th spot, but so far just not having the race he was hoping for. But still got a long ways to go. Anything can happen. If we start approaching lap 57 here, these guys still got probably about another 10 laps or so before we start seeing them pit. But that's gonna kind of be interesting to see what these guys' pit strategy is going to be too. Because like you said, they won't be able to make it just on one stop. So we'll see how these guys play off as we see Dave diving down into pit road.
That he is. Here comes Dave Bush, our first car of the drivers to come down. He's one lap down also here. He's going to come down on lap 10. We've seen Dave Bush pit pretty early before, so I'm wondering if this is just an early pit stop from Dave Bush to try to get some track position back, maybe get the jump on these drivers and get back on that lead lap. Is side by side for the lead down the back straightaway. Chuck Sweeten finally has got there on the 77. This is going to be a shot down into 3, but man, Mark Whitley really drives it off in there. And it looks like he may be able to hold on as they come off of turn 4 side by side.
Yeah, Mark got a little bit loose there, but still able to hold off. Just had that preferred line on the exit, and that was really the difference for him. But Chuck definitely letting him know that that he's there. So if Mark forgot that Chuck was there, he just reminded him. That
he did, man. I tell you what, Mark fought so well there to hold on to that lead here, 58 laps into this run. Like you said, when do they decide to pit? I would say it's most likely got to happen here very soon if they're on a 2-stop strategy. But if they're on the 1-stop strategy, they could be trying to stretch it to that 80 mark. That's going to be a tough thing to do there as they complete this lap this time. You're looking at upwards of really a sizable margin until we get there. I mean, you got to go 21 more laps. That's going to be a tough thing to do.
Yeah, and just kind of interesting too. Since Chuck's trying to make that pass, he's kind of falling back in a little bit. Not quite a second. He's about a 0.9, but now he's diving on the pit road here, so he's going to go to the pit, before Mike Whitley and see if maybe the tires will give him the opportunity to pass him, coming through pit road.
And coming down the pit road, that is Chuck Sweeten here. He's going to have to do pit road speed of 45 mile an hour as he'll be the first of our top 5 to crack into pit road. What a timing there. And right at lap 60, that's telling me this is going to be right around a 2-stopper race here. Is Whitley, when does he come down? Does he come down this time? Looks like he's going to continue to stay out here as Chuck Sweeten's going to try to undercut him.
Yeah, and so now the question is, how long does Mark Whitley stay out there? Knowing that Chuck has already pitted. I imagine you don't want to stay out there too long, because we were talking about the tire fall off being pretty quick on this thing. I think it's about 2 seconds a lap already, and it was 1 second within the first 25 laps.
Yeah, and then also you got to remember that Chuck Sweeten, he just came off pit road this time, but Steven Stempien and also I believe it was Michael Yarrow, they pitted, so they might be able to jump Mark Whitley. And I tell you what, Chuck Sweeting, he may have had an issue there, unless they came. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, they both came down on the same lap, so Chuck Sweeting, no issues there. It looks like Steven Stempien, Chuck Sweeting, and Michael Yarrow all coming down there on lap 60.
Yeah, and so far, just looking at the pit time, Chuck Sweeting's pit time was a 14:93, the fastest pit stop we've had so far. So, it's going to see interesting to see when these guys make all their pit stops and they get back on the track where everybody, kind of lines up. And those guys that decided to short pit, does that help them, get out in the lead?
It's going to be an interesting scenario. Whitley might put himself back in some traffic here too, David, with how long he's staying out. Same with Brad Delphier. These guys are going to have the fresher tires to try to drive up through, but at the same time, does the fresher help that much more? We will definitely have to see. Is right now all the pit stops starting to transpire. Still got our top 5 that have yet to pit out front. We're going to head to a quick commercial break up here in the booth as we have our first pit stops of the night all popping off. We'll be back in a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. Don't tune away.
want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Freaky Fast Broadcasting is brought to you by ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. You can head on over to ButtKicker.com and use our promo code FreakyFast20 to get 20% off of any purchase at ButtKicker.com. And tell them Freaky, that way you can let Freaky Fast know that we sent you there. But again, ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. Thank you for everybody tuning in here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. What a race we have on board for you as we've been green up to this point. 70 laps in the books. Chuck Sweeten out front as our pit stops have all transpired up here, David. Right now, after all that's played through, Mark Whitley about 6 seconds back, but I tell you what, his lap times are burning up the stopwatch.
Yeah, he pitted 6 laps after like Chuck Sweeney did, and we saw right before Mark Whitley pitted that Steve Sippian drove by him with fresh tires, and you can just see the difference the tires make. And since Mark Whitley has pitted, he was back to like 8-9 seconds when he came out, and he's now dropped that time down substantially. So definitely his lap time is 33:37 versus the 34:33 of the leader. So already a second to lap difference on tires, and you can see it right here. Just the difference these tires are making with such short laps on them.
Yeah, great run. Oh, wow, Whitley close to the wall there on exit. It just shows you these. It looks like these cars break loose very, very quick there in the last few moments of the corner, and Whitley able to do a good job to hold on to it with his quick hands there, is showing why he's a champion here at Sim Racing Unleashed and a winner at many of the leagues we broadcast here at Freak Fast Broadcast not only. So got to give the guy credit. He's about 4.5 seconds back now, David. We'll see what he can do. He's got to get by the 70 and the 52 here, but then he'll have clear track up to those top two who pitted a good bit earlier. Will the tires start to even out before then? That's going to be the big question, because we saw how fast Sweeting was. He was able to put the pressure on him for so long. I think if Sweeting can get to a certain point, he can hold on to that gap with the 77.
Yeah, I think you're right, and we've had our first pit stop. Everybody already pitted, so now we're going to see how these guys kind of are able to race. Those guys that pitted later, those guys that pitted earlier. I think we're definitely going to see Mark Wheatley work his way back up front, but we're also going to see one thing that's nice to see is Mike Yarrow, who was leading the race, had some issues, made contact with the wall. He's currently running 5th place.
Yeah, good rebound for Michael Yarr there as you're looking at now the 73 into 55 of Benjamin Butler and Larry Blair battling for this for the 10th position there. Is Benjamin Butler's going to crack himself up into the top 10 in that 55 machine and send Larry Blair back to 11th as both those drivers 1 lap down at the moment. As right now 8 cars on the lead lap and not too far away from being 7 as Dakota Bryant's falling into the clutches there as Yarrow making some spots. Man, I tell you what, it's going to be fun to watch because Whitley right now 3.3 back in 3rd position. He's really, really catching up to Stippian and Sweeting. The biggest thing for Sweeting is he does have Stippian as somewhat of a yardstick and a measuring stick to see how fast will Whitley be able to get around him as they both pit on the same lap. It's about a half a second lap time difference right now, but when he gets there, how much will it be? That's going to be the fun part to watch, is Whitley closing that gap down ever so slightly.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, right now it's still right around just above 2 second mark, and the tires are starting to get a little bit closer. You got the truck running a 34.54, and then Mark Whitley running a 34.02. So about a half a second faster than our leader. But how much tire will he have left? Once he catches the leader. We were talking about that earlier. We haven't really seen too much passes on this track so far. But is his tire different that he has going to make it a lot easier for him to make the pass up, on the lane of his choosing.
That last time by there, Mark Whitley 34.15 to Steven Stippian is 34.90. So very big difference between these two right here. Is Whitley going to be in there very quickly to challenge, and also you got James Bryant, who's on newer tires. Also, he's behind Steven Stippian. This is going to give him somewhat of an interesting scenario with a lap car here. First car a lap down, trying to get by who pitted later, and you're also going to have the faster tires of Whitley coming up. This is going to help Whitley, I think, a little bit with this lap traffic here.
Yeah, we'll want to kind of keep note of how many laps does it take for Mark Whitley to get back up to the lead, if he does get back up to the lead. Because these guys' cycles, their pit cycles are off of each other. So if he ends up pitting later than these guys do on the next pit stop, this will give us an idea of how many laps it would take for him to catch that leader.
And look at this already. Whitley trying his heart out to get the spot from Stippian. Stippian going to fight to his. Oh, man, very close between those two. These two are pretty big rivals here at SRU. They definitely want to beat each other week in and week out. They feel like they're going to be the two when it comes down to the end of the season who are battling for the championship. I tell you what, they can't set their sights too far on themselves, because up ahead of them we got James Bryant, who's pulling away his lap car, but also Chuck Sweeten. He's starting to definitely like what he's seeing as this side-by-side battle continues.
Yeah, I think he'd be very happy to watch these guys do this for as many laps as possible, just to keep him in that lead. But this is kind of what I wanted to see was when Mark Whitley did catch Steve Stippian, what was it going to be like to try and make the pass. He's kind of struggled a little bit as we see him just take a dive and go ahead and make that that pass. It took him a few laps to get that done.
Yeah, he just used the tire grip that he had available to get that done. Whitley back up the second here as we continue on lap 80 of 160. Well, next time by when we cross the line, we will be halfway here for the 200 miles of the Support Your Troops 200 here at the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series. Whitley, he's been charging up through. We've seen, though, Chuck Sweeten was quicker. Being behind him, they're just not able to get the run and get by him. Man, how much better will Whitley's tires be when he gets there? Right now, Chuck Sweeten looking pretty strong out front. We'll have to see when he gets there how will it be as easy as what it was for there of Steven Stippian.
Yeah, and just taking a look at these last lap times there. Chuck's last lap was a 34.85, and Mark Whitley's time was a 34.72. So the times of the tires are starting to get closer and closer with each other. So, Mark Whitley just running hard out there to try and catch that leader, and will he have enough once he does catch that leader to make that pass?
That is always the question we got to ask. And also, you got James Bryant who's trying to lap himself there in this 52 machine. James Bryant's doing everything in his power to get that lap back. He is in the lucky dog spot. But if he can get by the 75 and we do get a caution here, that's going to be a lot better than starting from the tail end of the longest lap, as you have to do as a lapper. But I tell you what, Bryant there not able to get all the way up to that 75. But Chuck's hanging on strong right here, trying to hold on to a gap.
Definitely is, and I'm sure he tried to keep an eye on Mark Whitley's time there to see when he could catch up to him and stuff. But again, just wanted to talk about Brandon Hartwell. Up 5 positions, but our biggest mover so far is that 33 of Mark Kochek. He's up 8 spots. So good run for him so far in this race.
Really great run, like you alluded to there from Mark Kochek, because he's able to work himself up to the 7th position here at the Gateway Raceway. Is man, this 33, looking for a good run. Nonetheless, here in the season, this is where he's looking to get it done here tonight. Is 7th, up from 14th. Is definitely a great drive. 28 seconds back from our leader, so he is in jeopardy of going a lap down at some point, possibly during this race. But I tell you what, He's up to even up to 7th there now too. So just man, what a great run! 7 positions up from 14. Mark Koshik, a great run here tonight at the Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Mark Whitley's got it down to almost a half a second to our leader, so we could be seeing a battle, or maybe it won't be a battle. It could be pretty easy pass for the lead, but we are going to keep note. So he's less than what 20 laps since he pitted. About what it took him to be able to get the lead.
Man, oh man, Chuck Sweeten there had the position, but just could not hold on any longer. James Bryan in the 52 got by him. It kind of slowed him up a little bit there. Whitley has a big slide though. Here comes the 75 back into the picture. This is going to be fun to watch and see the difference between these two now with the lap difference. Can Whitley open up a gap? Does Sweeting stick to the same strategy? Does he go longer? Does he go even earlier than the 60 lap distance that he went there? So most likely we're going to be seeing him most likely around 120. That would give him 40 to go. And, it took Whitley there 26 laps, really not in that, about 20 laps to get it done.
Yeah, and I think I think that's going to be key coming towards the end of the race if we remain caution free. When he makes his next pit stop. So that's probably in the back of his mind is how long it took for him to catch the leader, so he knows when to make his last pit stop.
This is going to be an interesting battle all the way down to the end as Whitley, he's got the lead, but hasn't been able to just stretch his legs like you would think on the new tire wear, as Stippian not letting him get away right here. Michael Yarrow, 11.3 back in the 5th position. Remember, he was leading early in the going, lost the car coming out of 4, got the major damage on the front end of that car, was able to get the fast, or actually didn't get the fast spray. He's actually still got the damage, so doing a great job with still a lot of front end splitter damage. I mean, that car has definitely got to be off pace, and he's right now in a solid top 5 spot. If anything caution wise comes out, he may be able to get that car fixed up a little bit better with some time on pit road, and that thing will be a lot quicker, because remember, no fast repairs here at Sim Racing Unleashed, so gonna have to work on it on pit road.
Yeah, that's just a difficult issue and different break for him. I'm sure that if he isn't able to get that win, he's just going to be really wondering what could have been if you didn't have that issue and losing the control of the car. They're coming up the exit, so still about a little over halfway on this race, so anything can happen. But the number 9 A-Shot car just got his work cut out for him. But I'm sure he's going to be disappointed if he's not able to get up there and try and fight for the win.
89 laps in the books here of 160 right now. The field very much spaced out throughout the whole entire field. One of the closest battles, though, is Mark Koshik. We saw that he was in 7th. He's now dropped back to 8th. Is Dakota Bryant in the 58, the free hugs machine. He has driven himself up into the 7th position, and he's got about 6 seconds up the road to Brad Delph. But I tell you what, great run again nonetheless for Dakota Bryant or Mark Koshik here, as they're running 7th and 8th at the moment.
Yeah, he's having a really good season so far already. As he's had three top 5 finishes so far this year. So just looking to be consistent, but just doing another fantastic job here on this track as well. And gotta love that paint scheme.
Definitely gotta love it. It's always a bright and a cheerful paint scheme. It's always about spreading the love, and that's what we love to see here with Dakota Bryant. He's always out there trying to keep the love out on the racetrack. The racetrack is an important place to keep it, man, because you can get pretty heated out there in the heat of the moment. So Dakota Bryant out there spreading the love out on the racing surface. But man, right now, much of the field spread out. It's definitely a race that has played into now. It's going to be, who can do what with this strategy, and when do they come back down, because this race right now, Whitley is loving the way it's playing out for him in this 77 machines. He's able to continue to open that gap up between him and Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, we definitely continue to see just the difference on these tires. Again, 6 lap difference between our leader, Mark Whitley, and Chuck Sweeting, and Steve Sippian as well. And then looking at lap times, it's not a huge difference. You got a 35.30 to 35.36. Steve Sippian there running a 35.26 on that last lap.
You see right now, Looks like Chuck Sweet was stuck behind the 52 of James Bryant, who was able to unlap himself. And then now Whitley getting back by him puts him a lap down. And also lap Mike Chamberlain for the third time tonight to put him 3 laps down in the 12th position at 70 machine. But yeah, Sweeting not able to get around James Bryant in that 52. It's definitely, you know, it's not like James Bryant is holding on too much, but it's just the fact that a car being in front of you, it really does affect the downforce levels. And right now, man, the 77, even the 52 there gets James Bryant down low to let Chuck Sweeting by. Our leader, real big moment coming off of 2 there. He had a couple big slides already.
Yeah, just kind of watching the line these guys were running. It looks like Chuck Sweeney there just both turns, both corners. He's running a little bit a groove up coming into turns 1 and 2, and then a little bit later apex on coming on the 3 and 4, and then getting a good run off.
Got to give credit to Steven Stippian too this run. He's starting to charge back up. He's a little bit quicker than Chuck Sweeting here, about a 10th quicker than Chuck was this lap. So maybe Stippian able to charge maybe back up for a second spot. If we get a late caution in this race, it's not out of the picture where he could be in a spot to go for that 3rd victory in a row. And what a momentum builder that would be after having a week off for Halloween to come right back and get himself another win.
Yeah, still got a lot of racing to go. Still got another pit stop to go. So anything can happen here. But so far, these guys have done a really fantastic job, in my opinion, on running this track here. Again, it's a track that can be a handful. We've seen many cars just having issues fighting that loose off condition. But all these guys doing a fantastic job, just keeping the car under control.
It's great to see all this action here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway here at Gateway. Man, again, like I keep alluding to the track being weird, but it's just such a weird track. And we do have a question, I think, out there in chat about what's the pit window. So our first pit stops happen around lap 60. So we're probably looking at a wrap really around anywhere from a lap 120, maybe even before that 110 for pit stops starting to happen. So it's definitely interesting. Mark Whitley in that 77 pushed it farther than anybody to about lap 66. Steven Stimpy and Chuck Sweet, our second place, third place drivers, they hit on lap 60. So we could see somewhere, I'd say somewhere around 110 to 120 is going to be an area where you're going to see a lot of guys hitting pit road for that final time.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. The curious one that I have is going to be Mark Whitley, because he decided to stay out 6 laps further than everybody else. But again, I think the key number for him is going to be, having that 20 lap number in the back of his mind, giving himself at least that to be able to make sure that he has enough time to get back up to the front.
Yeah, you definitely got to have the time to get back up there. If you run out of time, you ain't going to have enough. I tell you what, yeah, Mark Whitley's had the fresher tires, but I tell you what, the time's starting to come back into the favor of the 81 and the 75, as even Stimpy, the fastest car on the racetrack right there, 3rd place. He's under a 2nd gap now as he figured something out as this race is going on. Steven Stimpy, our 2-time defending race winner here these last 2 weeks, he is starting to figure something out, David, and he's starting to reel him in.
Yeah, these guys have had plenty of green flag, runs, almost 100 laps, to be able to find what lanes work best for their car and their driving style. And I think you're right. Steve Stympian has found something that has been allowing him to be a little bit consistently faster than our first 2 cars out there. So, 35-22. That's right up there with our leader, and he's got older tires than our leader does.
This is fun to watch, as right now I think these pit stops are going to matter even more when they happen and how they time everything out. As you can see, Sweeting, he's starting to close the gap down on Whitley. So Stimpy is starting to close the gap down on Whitley. Maybe Whitley used a little too much tire to close that gap down too quickly, and you can see he's starting to suffer a little bit, sliding on corners, exits. It's allowing these two to really start to pull the gap back in. This has got to give some confidence to the drivers behind who know they have older tires.
Yeah, and that kind of asks the question is which way was it? Was it just Whitley driving his tires a little bit harder, or was it the other two just kind of taking it easy on their tires, not abusing them as much, and trying to save it, knowing that they Mark Whitley would catch back up to him. But either way, it's made for really good racing, close racing, as we see Chuck just still remaining, about a half a second behind Whitley, and then we still see Sipping closing that gap down to the front too.
This is great racing to watch here as we are under 60 to go here. We're going to be looking for pit stops to be happening very, very soon. These all could be what shakes up and plays out to be the race winning scenario of this race. If you don't get the pit stop right, it could lose everything. And if you get it right, really right, you can win the race. So it goes one or two ways. Ask Kyle Larson to do, won his championship tonight. He was able to hit pit road just perfectly and have a pit crew time out everything and just have their best moment at the right time. Who's going to be able to have that moment here tonight is going to be the key. Man, Sweeten really closing the gap down. Same with Steven Stipien.
Yeah, those guys are definitely, closing it down. Stipien definitely has found something that he didn't have earlier in the race, and so kudos to him to be searching that track to find that better lane for him. That's definitely paying off.
Man, oh man, this is fun stuff to watch here at Sim Racing Unleashed. If you haven't watched the rest of the season, it's been a wild battle up to this point here with Steven Stipien having 2 wins to his name along with Mark Whitley, as this is race number 6. Oh man, Stipien, big moment as he comes off of turn number 2. He's going to lose a major amount of time there that he gained, and right around about 2 to 3 tenths of time lost there from the 81 up to the 75 and 77.
Yeah, it's kind of almost the same thing that we saw that happened with number 9 Yarrow there. Just running around, hitting his marks, and the car looks like it's behaving just fine. Then all of a sudden it just jumps out on you. So these drivers definitely can't let their guard down. Even after they think they've got it figured out, got their line figured out, these cars just step out any time that we just saw there.
At any moment you're vulnerable to a slide, that's for sure. Brandon Hartwell, even a big slide there for him off of turn number 2 as everybody's trying to figure it out right now. Chuck Sweeten, though, putting the pressure on Mark Whitley, only 2 tenths back from that 77 machine. Got to give him credit on these older tires, really starting to put pressure on it. Maybe this time he goes long here, David. That's the question. If he's quicker, than him on the long runs, if he goes long and has a little bit of a tire advantage, he will be so much quicker.
Yeah, exactly. I think that some of the information that these guys got off their last tire wear will kind of let them know, hey, I could have ran a little bit longer. So I think that they're going to try to utilize that information for this next run and see how much longer they can stay out.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch. Just watching Brandon Hartwell lap around the circuit. Pit stops here going to be happening in, I believe, the next 10 to 15 laps here as we are going to be nearing 50 to go. We're going to head to another quick commercial break up here at Freaky Fast Broadcast, and then we're going to bring you all the action all the way down to the checker flag. So don't miss out on any of this action here. We'll be right back in a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. And Freaky Fast Broadcasting is presented to you by the Makoni Setup Shop. Head on over to MakoniSetupShop.com today, where you can get dirt setups from legends to cup cars, even dirt setups for late models, modifieds, and wing sprints also available. Also, coaching lessons from professional drivers such as iRacing Series champion from the Coca-Cola Series, Zach Novak, for just $25 an hour. Like I said, head on over to MakoniSetupShop.com today to get your setups, because at Makoni Setup Shop there are setups, but your victories. Use our promo code FFB10 to get 10% off of any setup purchase there at their website. Thank you to the Makoni Setup Shop for sponsoring Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But man, back to the racing action out on the surface of the track. Nobody yet flinched to hit pit road. We are nearing the 40 to go mark, but I tell you what, it has not let up with the pressure, with Chuck Sweeting really not letting Whitley get more than a half a second gap.
Yeah, and even a little bit further back, we saw Steve Stipton several laps ago, having the issue coming off the corner there, lost some time, fell back over 2 seconds back, and now he's back within a 1.2 seconds, of the leader. So, good recovery by him. He definitely, it seems like he's found something, it's making his lap a little bit quicker than the first two cars up front. Just kind of makes you wonder what could have been if he wouldn't have had that little issue coming off the corner.
That's very, very true there, David. And so now Mark Whitley closes on the back deck lid of Dakota Bryant. The 58 looks like he's going to let the 77 of Whitley by. And here comes the 75 of Chuck Sweeting now. He's going to look to go by. And oh, no contact between him and Dakota Bryant, who I think kind of got a miscommunication there between him and the 75. It looked like he let Whitley by, but just wasn't going to let the 75 by, who thought he was maybe going to get the inside lane. They make contact, and this checks it all up now. Sweeting just trying to hang on to second.
Yeah, well, that was very, very close for Chuck, and us having our first caution. So good job by both of them of being able to save that. But I tell you, I think that was going to be our first caution. But yeah, now Chuck's under fire with Steve Zipian.
Yeah, and Stimpy's been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. And man, he goes way high up the racetrack, trying something different there to cut it back down. As right now, Sweetie going to try to come back at Mark Whitley up front. Man, that really changed everything. And now, caution on the racing surface. I'm trying to see exactly what happened there. It looks like maybe even Dakota Bryant involved in that in the 58 machine. Oh, no, sorry, James Bryant in the 52 machine. Major incident.
Yeah, we'll go back and watch the replay on that and see what happened. But our first caution of the night, lap 118.
Here it is, Freaky Fast instant replay. Your number 52 machine of James Bryant. He just had come down pit road about 5 to 10 laps ago, and on these tires right here, just coming off a forward, loops it, spins it down to the inside wall, bring out the first caution night. Hard, heavy collision with that front end, and ooh, Koscheck in the 33 even getting a little damage there. But right now, 5 cars on the lead lap, as Hartwell was one of the drivers that hit pit road during that sequence. It's going to be an interesting scenario now with everybody, I think, hitting pit road here on this caution.
Yep, and this is going to put everybody into their pit window and making it through the rest of the race. So, pretty timely for Mark Whitley to come down and make his last pit stop, but almost went caution free for this race. Just wasn't able to quite do it. But those fresh tires, we've seen guys again from the beginning of the race just kind of having issues coming off the exit, and those fresh tires there, he just wasn't able to hang on to it.
Oh man, here they come down the pit road. Who's going to get the pit stop they need? This is also the help Michael Yarrow needs, with only having 5 drivers on the lead lap. He's not going to lose very much track position sitting on pit road, getting that 9 machine worked on, who has extensive damage to that race car. I think this is a good call for Yarrow. He may be able to get that thing fixed up to where he has a shot to challenge for something. We've seen how quick he was at the beginning, but here they are, jacking up the right sides of the cars. Next going to be the left and getting that Sunoco fuel in these cars. Man, David, this is going to be a critical race off pit road.
Yeah, we talked about how tough it is to pass on a track, and all these guys could come in the same position as what they came down on. So no passing on the track with these guys, and no passing on the pit road. But we're going to go ahead and re-rack these guys. They're going to be all equal tires for the rest of the way here. So, now we'll see what, Chuck or if Steve Sipian has anything from Art Whitley.
Big time game changer was that first caution of the night, right after contact between Chuck Sweeting and Dakota Bryant, who really opened up that gap. Whitley probably breathed a sigh of relief there. Now he's going to know he's on the same tires as Chuck Sweeting and Steven Stippian, who were quicker on the long run than him last run. This is going to make everything different here. We're going to have a 40-lap run down to the end. It's going to be fun stuff to watch here, David.
Definitely is, and you talked about it. While they were on pit road, is Michael Yarrow able to get that opportunity to come down and get some of that damage that he had earlier in the race fixed, and be starting up in the 6th spot, close to the leaders again. So we'll see if he's just able to get enough of that fix, and if he's able to work his way back up and make a challenge for the race lead.
Is going to be one to watch for. As the 77 of Whitley has dominated all night long after getting the lead from Yarrow after his spin out front. Can he hold on to this race victory? We've seen it in Indianapolis. He was so dominant through the whole entire night. Steven Stippian able to steal the win away from him there. But I tell you what, the one thing in Indianapolis he didn't have to worry about was a driver all over the back end of him like Chuck Sweeting was here all the night. So Sweeting, I think he has something still to say about this win. And Stippian, he's found the speed throughout the race here. It's going to be one heck of a titanic battle between these top three, I believe.
Yeah, I kind of hate to say what I'm getting ready to say, but we all know that old saying is caution breeds caution. So this, it took 120 laps before we get our 119 laps before we get our first caution, but now the level kind of picks up. You're coming towards the end of the race. So is it possible we end up getting a few more cautions before the end of the race? And if so, does that help out, Yarrow and being able to work his way to the front? But I suspect that we're going to see some really good battles, coming under this restart.
Restarts are going to be critical here as the rest of the field waves through here. We're going to have no lights on the pace car this time. We're going to be going green flag racing. Under 40 laps to go here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway for the Salute Our Troops 200 miles here at SRU. Who is going to be the champ? Or sorry, not the champion. Getting a little too far ahead of myself there. Who's going to be the race winner here tonight is the question we must ask ourselves. I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. Whitley electing to take the outside lane. Chuck Sweeting going to start down low in second. Steven Stippian third. Brad Dell fourth. Michael Yarrow fifth. Brandon Hartwell rounding out the lead lap cars in the 6th position. He's going to take the wave, so he's starting to tail along his line. Pace car is in. Barney awaits the field as they roll off of turn 4. Whitley has control of the field. He's going to be looking to go green here any moment. Green flag is out. We're off and away. Great start from Whitley. Little bump from Stippian to Sweeting to get him up to the inside, possibly the 77.
Yeah, I was kind of curious to see at the start of the race we saw wheel spin from Steve Sipian, but it looks like that restart there didn't really see anybody have any wheel spin. So good restart from all the drivers. Good
start there, especially Brad Delph, who was in 4th. He's up to 3rd now in that 14 machine, trying to take home a good solid finish here tonight. But the top two, Whitley, Chuck Sweeting, as they round off of turn 4, complete the first lap after our restart. What a start it was there. Whitley with a 4-car length gap back to Sweeting.
Yeah, you got Delp sitting in 3rd place, who good pick up for him. 4 spots up, and you got Steve Sipian and Marco Yarrow still out back there fighting, trying to work his way to the front.
Yarrow fixed that car up on the pit stop. Looks a lot better, I must say. Definitely couldn't get it all fixed, but he's trying to charge his way up as he's all over the back deck lid of the 81 of Steven Stippian. What a run he's got there. Stippian, he's been held up by Delph here. He's definitely got to try to get by. And there it is. Cautions, precaution, 2nd caution of the night, and that's going to be on the number 73 of Larry Blair there. He goes around with a little bit of contact between him and the 52 of James Bryan. As, man, Koscheck involved in that. Also the 33, unfortunate for him there. As we go back on the Freaky Fast replay, you're going to see the 52 coming up the racetrack. The 73 coming down the racetrack. There's going to be a little bit of contact. And there they go around as Koshik barely getting caught in the right rear quarter panel. And it's going to send him up the racetrack. So some innocent bystanders there caught out in this incident here. The second caution of the night at Gateway.
Yeah, looks like we had about 3 cars caught up in that. So just unfortunate there, but just something that we knew was a possibility. You know, we're coming to the end of the race, and yeah, these guys are racing a little bit further to the back, but you know, again, every position matters. You know, when you're racing. So we're going to go ahead and restack this field here as we see Yarrow up to 5th position. So he'll get another opportunity on this restart to see if he can gain a few more spots.
I think Yara, he's going to bring it down to get that 9 machine worked on just a little bit more here under this caution. As it's right now, a lot of drivers going to be looking to get themselves by on a wave around, but the unfortunate thing for that, nobody else going to pit. So they're going to be stuck there, as I believe Dakota Bryant, he's going to be the first driver 1 lap down. He's going to get the lucky dog. So we'll have 7 cars on the lead lap here after this caution plays out. But man, this is definitely opening the door for a lot of different strategies. They got 1 more set of tires, I believe, here tonight, David, in their stall. I'm glad nobody decided to come down this time and get tires. I think that would have been a way too early of a call. But, man, if we get another caution here in 15, 20 laps, I think you got to go ahead and put the other set on.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I was kind of trying to put myself in the, the driver's seat as to, when you put that last set on. And I think you're right. I think it's a little early right now, but, if we do go another 10, 15 laps, that might be the best time to come in and put those set of tires on. Hopefully we don't have another caution, but, it's amping up, it's revving up. These guys are getting racked back up, so everyone's going to try and make that run for that position while they can get it. So, it's possible we could be seeing another caution.
Like you said, cautions breed cautions. They always seem to, bring out the excitement in the drivers that really causes these incidents. Gets everybody packed back up, gets the action flowing, the blood flowing here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Man, it's been a wild race nonetheless, just due to really, the 75. I personally just probably looked at all that. He seemed to be one of the quickest cars, just hasn't been able to get out in front. It's been that 77 of Whitley, who's been rock solid, not many mistakes, able to give up that lead.
Yeah, now they're all in the same playing field, same set of tires, everything else. So, yeah, we'll see if Sweetie's able to get a good start and maybe get up to the front, and with them being on even tires, to see what he's got. But we can't forget about Steve Scipio back there, who's really had a good race all race long, and just had some issues with loose off conditions and stuff. But him and Delph, having a good run as well. So right now, this is still anybody's race.
Definitely is, David. Anybody's race still yet here to go is under the second caution of the night, pacing here at Sim Racing Unleashed. 6th race of the season. Next week, we may be doing a little bit of this pacing action a few times, I believe, so we might as well get ready for it. That's Martinsville Speedway. Don't miss out on the most action-packed racetrack on all of NASCAR circuit and one of the tracks that causes the most carnage, and that is Martinsville. And also, we're going to be in the next-gen cars. That's going to throw in a whole new curveball. Member of this league also runs those next-gen cars at tracks under 1 mile. So we're going to see that track be raced there in Martinsville with the next-gen car. That's going to throw a whole new circumstance into things, man. I cannot wait to see that, David.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. As you were talking about it, I was just, really thinking, what's going to be like to watch those cars on that track. So looking forward to watching these guys on that short track. Tempers are going to be flaring. It just comes with short track racing, but, it's going to be fun to watch that car on that track.
Short track racing with the future. That's the one thing I think it really brings up my mind is, you bring in the future with the old school, and you definitely love that combination. We'll have to see what they do with that next-gen car. We always hear about the brakes being so much better. What are the speeds going to be like at Martinsville? That was one of the questions I got to see. So we'll have to see after tonight's race what happens through the preparation of this week coming up for these drivers at Sim Racing Unleashed. What a season it's been so far. 6 races in. Going to be week number 7 next week at Martinsville, but we're double file ready to go back. Green flag racing here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway for the Salute Our Troops 200. Looking for the green flag. Whitley with control of the field in the 77 machine. He's going to be looking to take off here as we enter the restart zone. Whitley on the gas pedal. He's going to pull away with a nice start there, but Chuck Sweeting able to keep his nose inside of the 77, but here comes Steven Stippian around the outside. Can he get the second spot from Chuck Sweeting, or does that bottom prevail?
Yeah, looks like on there, bottom was able to prevail. We'll see what happens coming into this next quarter if Steve Stippian's able to make it stick and go and make a run for that 75.
It looks like Sweeting takes the second spot back, but here comes Stippian, the 81 machine, trying everything in his power, but here comes Brandon Hartwell, also on the 25 with the 14 of Brad Delph here, side by side down the front straightaway for the 4th position. He also got Yarrow in the 9 back there in 6th. All transpiring here for a top 5 here with under 30 to go here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Yeah, Delph and Hartwell just putting on a show there as we see, Delph able to make that pass, but the number 9 was just kind of had nowhere to go and just kind of riding around to see what was going to happen. But now it looks like it's kind of sorted out. So we're going to see with less than 30 laps to go, what these guys are able to do and if they have anything for our leaders. But, Whitley and Sweeney and Stippian, they've been kind of the class of the field so far tonight. And we'll see if they, which one of them will come up top.
It's under 30 to go. It's all starting to get a little spicy here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Up to Chuck Sweeten, up into the 2nd spot. He's been so quick all night. Hasn't had any network issues to strike him out of a chance here for a good run. This could be the night for that 75 to strike through, but he needs to get past that 77 of Mark Whitley, our 2-time defending series champion. It's going to be a titanic battle but between the championship defender and a newcomer here at Sim Racing Unleashed.
Yeah, looking at the lap times there, Chuck Sweeney laid out a 33:41 the previous lap, which was his best lap. So, putting down some really good track times on, as we're coming towards the end of this race here. So, we know early in the race he was able to stay on the bumper of Mark Whitley there. This time he's going to have to, if he gets to his bumper, he's going to have to figure out how he's going to be able to make a pass. We've seen Mark Whitley get a little bit loose coming off the exit there.
Yeah, that's been one thing I've seen all night, David. Is he's been fighting the rear of that car on exits, but he still makes good time. Most of the time you see those slides, you see big losses of momentum, but the 77 has been able to keep the momentum forward here as he charges down the back straightaway. I feel like it really starts to switch into Chuck Sweeting's favor about 20 to 25 laps into a run. He's going to have about that margin to get it done. He can't let the 77 get too far away if he wants a shot at this thing.
Yeah, and it's going to beg that question is how do you make that pass? Again, these guys are running pretty similar lines, so how do you make that pass? And on Mark Whitley's side is where is Sweeting beating you at? And you go out there to try and take that line away and force him to go somewhere where he might not be comfortable running.
Big loss of momentum here for the 77. Here comes Chuck Sweeting to the inside, down the back straightaway. He's going to be a nose ahead entering 3, but Whitley super tight on the door of the 75 here. They're going to be racing out of 4. Whitley not giving up here as they race hard and tight for the lead. Whitley going to hold on to it here. Sweeting going to get the side draft down into the inside, down to 1. He just may be a shot, but Whitley looks to close it off.
Yeah, I tell you, Mark Whitley doing a fantastic job on that outside lane, just being able to hold, Sweeney down, taking his exit speed away. In the meanwhile, Steve Stippian sitting back there just saying, okay, go ahead and make contact. Let me take the lead.
And Steve Stippian's got to be licking his chops here at this point. Here comes again the 75 to the inside of the 77. Trying to roll the bottom of the 77. Is doing a good job of getting a great exit and entry. He's able to hold position, but again, side by side here with 24 to go. Here comes Chuck Sweeting.
Oh, I tell you, this is some of the best racing we've had so far all night long. And Sweety's just really able to get it in that corner of the bed. You see him washing up there, making a little bit of contact with the 77, and both of them able to save it off the wall. But that's going to open the door for Steve Stippian to take that second spot.
And Stippian going to say, thank you very much. I'm coming through, trying to get 3 in a row for this 81. We've seen was not the class of the field here tonight. He started on pole, immediately gave the lead up, had some wheel spin, and just really could not recover from there. But it took a long 2 green flag runs, and this man figured it out. Here comes Steven Stippian It's been all night accumulation of working his way forward. He's closing in on the back deck lid of the 77.
That turn there, looks like Mark Whitley was just better from the center off than Steve Sipian. We'll see how he does here as he comes into the corner and gets a little bit of ground on Mark Whitley. We'll see if Mark Whitley gets a little bit loose coming off, and if that opens the door for Steven.
That will be the shot that he needs to look for right now, though. Whitley able to recover here in this last half of the lap, able to pull a couple car lengths gap back to Stippian, who really drove it off in the one there, trying to get everything out of this car with 22 to go. They're sliding the rear end off the corner. Stippian's closed the gap down within 2 car lengths. It is going to be fireworks here at Gateway.
We're definitely in for a show for the end here, and it's no longer about saving tires. Right now, it's about going out there and going after that win. So these guys are probably racing as hard as they have all race long right now. But Mark Whitley just doing a really fantastic job on the center off on these exits and just giving him, allowing him to keep the the lead there.
It really has been great here tonight, but Stippian down in 1 and 2 just looks so good, able to close up right to the back deck lid of this 77 here as they come down into 3. Whitley seems like he's been strong here all night, down into 3 and 4, be able to get the good run off and get the power on. This has been his corner, while 1 and 2 I think more into the way of the 81's hands. We'll see as we ride on board here. He just gets so deep into the corner and is able to get the power down.
Yeah, definitely. We can see it here as he's sipping, just able to close that gap up ever so slightly. But you can see in his rearview mirror there, Chuck hasn't gone anywhere. He's right there behind him. So, this race isn't over yet. But I tell you, Whitley is just in a really good position because, again, the pressure is going to be on Stippian if you're trying to get that run, but also get that position to try and make a pass. And if it goes on the inside, we saw Mark Whitley already has been able to hold off those challenges on the outside lane.
It's been so fun to watch so far. 19 to go. You can see from the back deck lid of Steve Stippian, Chuck Sweeting's going nowhere. Same with Brad Delph, Brandon Hartwell, and Michael Yarrow as our top 6, all within 2 seconds of each other. It's about 5 seconds back to Dakota Bryant, the last car on the lead lap, as the rest of the field just continues to go out of here, coming to 18 to go.
Yeah, coming to 18 to go, and we're going to have 18 laps to go, but the question is, are these guys going to go ahead and be able to catch back up to Mark Whitley? And again, I think we're going to be setting ourselves up for what could be a really good ending to this race if they are able to get in there. And I think it's going to take having to take that outside lane away from Mark Whitley. And I think the only way you can do that is if Mark Whitley gets a little loose and goes on the inside. But if you're going to have to make the pass on the inside, it's going to be really, really difficult to make that happen.
And looking throughout here is Brad Delph. He's trying to pick up any scraps here late in the go. And I mean, if anything, very close to the wall for the 14, almost gets up and into it. That could have been dangerous for him. Oh man, he's flirting with the wall.
Yeah, I thought I saw sparks, but maybe I'm seeing things. But yeah, if he did make contact with the wall, he definitely didn't have a whole lot of room. As you can see him having a little bit of challenge there coming off the exit.
Remember, everybody still has 1 set of tires still in pit road. If we get another caution, I believe you're going to see all of these drivers elect to come down and get those sets of tires. I think if you're Whitley, you like those chances for yourself. I think you like the short run if you're Mark Whitley. I think where he starts to struggle as the run starts to go on, he starts to suffer compared to that 81 and that 75, who again, those 3 starting to check out now and build a little gap between Brad Delph. This is starting to get to the phase of the run where the tire wear is becoming an important factor.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make a part of it too. As we see the 25 diving on the inside to try to make a pass on the 14, and looks like he's going to be able to make a stick and go ahead and clear that pass.
Yeah, what a move from Brandon Hartwell there to take over that 4th spot here with 15 to go. Whitley still out front, Stippian in 2nd, Sweeting in 3rd. You can throw a blanket over our top 3. They're all nose to tail.
Earlier we were talking about tire wear and the fall off on it. Just a quick note that Brendan Hartwell does have the freshest tires out of everybody. He has he last pitted on lap 120, So it was only a 1 lap difference, but we'll see. He probably wasn't racing as hard as these 3 guys up front were for the lead. So we'll see if it makes a difference for him if he's able to close that gap up.
That's a great point there, David. And that was his last set, so he does not have a set of tires left. 14 to go. He's hoping this thing goes green to the end. And looking right now, lap time wise, about 700 slower or 7,000 slower than our leader. So still with that or tire advantage, not able to close the gap down as much as probably he would like. But I tell you what, if he stays close enough, he could be looking to hold on to a podium spot, because I think it could get very interesting between these top 3 as they've closed in on the back deck lid of the 77 of Whitley. Whitley's had this all night long pressure, massive pressure right to the back bumper, but he's been able to hold on to it all night here. Let's see if he can continue this for 13 more.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, he's handled it really well. We've seen one time where he got a little bit loose, and that opened the door there for Chuck to be able to give him a battle for it. But Whitley was able to hold off. And now the question is, when do these guys try to make their move? I imagine it's going to be with less than 5 laps to go before they really try and make the stick on there. But we'll see what happens. And again, all it's going to take is for one of these drivers to kind of slip up, and that gap could grow.
And if you're the 81 of Steven Stippian, you want 3 wins in a row so bad. He wants to take the stranglehold. Is Whitley, big slide for him, but also the 81 of Stippian, big slide. It gives him the run, though. Man, I'm telling you, with that big a slide, I'm surprised Whitley didn't lose more speed. He did a great job to get that thing going straight.
Yeah, and I think what Stippian's trying to do is get really close to that bumper of Mark Whitley, try to take some of that air off to help that loose condition that he's having to deal with.
And oh man, 11 to go. What fun we're having up here in the booth at Sim Racing's Unleashed Cup Series action here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway for our Salute the Troops 200. You couldn't ask for a better finish here. The top 3 all within 3/10 of each other. It's getting spicy up here. Anybody's game in this top 3. And I tell you what, if anything happens, the drivers behind are going to be looking to clean it up with Brandon Hartwell, Brad Delph, Michael Yarrow there to round out your top 6. What a night it's been. 10 to go here at Gateway.
10 to go, and I tell you, these guys are definitely racing hard. Trying to get to that leader and trying to get his car upset a little bit. So we see Stippian he close in there, but he's just not able to get that run off that Mark Whitley's able to get.
You can see here it comes, the look to the inside, just trying to put a little pressure on that 77. Maybe a mistake out of him, but no mistakes so far. Whitley driving the wheels off it here. 9 to go this time by. He able to open up the gap, and man, I tell you, it's 3 and 4 is where his strong suit is, but down in 1 and 2, this is where Stippian and Sweeney have a little bit better pace.
Yeah, I think Mark Whitley just needs to drive out the windshield, don't look in the rear view mirror, just keep hitting his marks. Like you said, he had a really good run off, on that turn. But you'll see Stippian there, much better on that last turn there. So we'll see what happens. But you can see right about here, Mark Whitley just able to get back to the throttle a little bit sooner than Stippian is able to.
And what a titanic battle this is between our top 3 drivers. Whitley still hanging on to it. Does the 81 pull out the bumper here late to go? And he's definitely close enough to possibly think about it here. He's been putting the pressure on. Whitley sliding off for 2. Big run for the 81. He's going to probably look to the inside and make the 77 think here as we go down to 3 and 4. It's going to be 7 to go when they cross the start finish.
Man, it's going to be a great finish here. Stippian just doing everything he can to try and close that gap off as we see him get a little bit loose on that exit. But I think tire wear is definitely starting to set in. But these guys just definitely battling hard, turn after turn, as we're coming down to almost 6 laps to go. And, it's going to be for a great finish, but the question is going to be, how do you make the pass here? It seems like there's not, a whole bunch of multiple lanes, for these guys to be able to run and make the car stick.
Yeah, that is the huge question. Stippian, he keeps getting close to the back bumper on entry. Is that the point where he uses the bumper right now? He's trying to elect to do something different, runs a little higher line in 3 and 4. That is not it, though. Loses a little bit of ground to that 77 as we go down to turn 1. 6 to go here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's been a well of a battle here down to the end. but Stippian trying to go for 3 in a row. Mark Whitley trying to get his 3rd win of the season. These both two tied for wins in a battle for the points lead. Only 7 points separating them. It's really heating up between these top 2 rivals.
It definitely is, and you said something there I didn't even think about, but you know, is it going to take a bump and run to be able to move that leader out of the groove, and if so, will he use it?
This is going to be fun to watch. 5 to go here. Stippian able to lose a little bit of ground here. Can he gain that back up to Mark Whitley? As right now, Chuck Sweeting, he's putting pressure on the back of the 81. This could heat things up. Whitley would love to see those two get side by side and start battling for second. That'll give him a sigh of relief here as he goes down to 3 and 4.
Coming to the end of 5 to go, and getting a little bit of separation there between the drivers now. So you know, this kind of makes you wonder if we are going to be able to have a close race at the end, for the battle for the win there. But you got to tip your hat off to the race that Whitley has been able to put together here. He's been able to be out there, most of the race in the lead, and just hasn't looked back. Even with a little bit of loose conditions, he's been able to stay up there, keep those cars behind him, take away their lines, and making it work for him.
What a race he's driven. Definitely would not want to lose it here in the last few moments. They come out of 4 this time. 3 to go for Mark Whitley. He's building the gap. Steven Stippian going to need everything in his playbook to be able to catch up to this 77 machine. Does he have anything left in that 81 Chevrolet?
Yeah, just kind of throwing it back to, Yarrow when he was leading the race. He was just having a dominating performance at the start. And all it took is a little bit of slip up, and it was a change in the leader. So we only got, coming to 2 laps to go, but anything can still happen here with 2 laps to go.
And man, Stippian closes in. He gets closer and closer and closer there as they come off of 4. It's going to be 2 to go here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series as we head down the 1. Stippian closing in.
Yeah, I tell you, I just don't know how Stippian's going to be able to make that pass, and Chuck, just unfortunate there, just had that issue that they lost in that 2nd place spot. But hats off to all 3 of these drivers, just putting on a heck of a performance tonight.
Final time before we see the white flag. Mark Whitley looks up and sees the Freaky Fast white flag. 1 to go here from the Worldwide Technology Raceway here for the Salute the Troops 200. If you want to get your name or brand on our Freaky Fast white flag, hit us up on our social medias. It's a battle. Here comes Stippian. He rolls the top trying to get the run. Is he close enough for a bump? They head down the 3. He makes the look to the inside of the 77 machine. Here it is, one final time into 3 and 4. Does he have anything? Not able to get there, but Chuck Sweeting maybe to the back bumper. Whitley, though, what a dominating performance. He's going to win here for the 3rd time this season at SRU, and he wins at Gateway.
His 3rd win of the season. What a performance, by Whitley and Stippian and Sweeney. Just the class of the field tonight, and man, they put on a heck of a show driving on this track. It's not an easy track to race on, but they did a fantastic job all night long.
What a show here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Mark Whitley gonna celebrate here tonight as your race winners. The fireworks all starting to pop off. It was a great 200 miles here for the Salute the Troops 200 here at Sim Racing Unleashed. He was able to win it. He is your 3-time race winner this season, your 2-time defending series champion, Mark Whitley. What a drive from the 77.
Yeah, definitely put on a heck of a performance this race tonight, and also Brandon Hartwell, gaining 5th position and bringing it home in 4th place. So a good run for him.
Great runs all around the board as Mark Whitley celebrates here on the front straightaway. What a happy driver, that's gotta be. As we'll be looking to talk to him very, very soon. We'll get our top 3 drivers up here in the booth, ladies and gentlemen, to have a chat with our top 3. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be right back in a few moments. We are back here, ladies and gentlemen, with our top 3 drivers from the Salute Your Troops 200 here from the Worldwide Technology Raceway. First man up is our third place finisher, Chuck Sweeting. 3 podium finishes in a row for this driver. Let's hear from him in the 75. Hey, Chuck and Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great, man. I tell you what a hard fought battle it was tonight, man. It seemed like you may at some points had the pace advantage over the 77 of Whitley, but got to the inside multiple times, just not able to get that pass done, man. How hard was that to get the pass done? And man, how fun was that racing? Because you guys put on a show for us.
It was a blast. It was as much fun to do, or more fun than it probably looked like. But yeah, it's so tough to pass here. It's pretty much one lane, and there's not enough grip at the outside of 3 and 4, and not enough grip in the inside of 1 and 2. So you got to be quite a bit faster than somebody to make a pass. But we were all 3 pretty even there at the end, and I had to work hard. I was sweating quite a bit, but it was a fun race.
Yeah, it definitely was fun for us to watch up in the booth, man. You had us on the edge of our seats multiple times. This track not a short track, but I would say has short track tendencies definitely to it. Being a very weird circuit in itself, the way the corners are very different. Next week going to head off in the Martinsville, man. You got 3 podium finishes in a row right now here coming in here after tonight at SRU. How do you feel about carrying that momentum into the paperclip at Martinsville, man?
That's a tough track. I'm kind of average there, so we'll have to see. But tonight kind of reminded me a lot of racing at Phoenix. The throttle control coming off the corner was key to everything, and I just kept waiting for Mark to make a mistake, and he just never did. He never did. It's kudos to him, and congrats on the win, because I pressured him as much as I could. But Martinsville will be fun, hopefully, and I don't know. Hopefully, I'll be competitive.
Well, man, it's going to be fun to watch you next week there at Martinsville. Chuck, before we let you get out of here, man, anybody want to send a shout out to for your third place finisher tonight?
Yeah, just thanks for Robert for the hard work he's doing behind the scenes. I know he's there. Thanks to you guys, and thanks to the admins for all they do for the league.
Well, thank you very much, Chuck, man. You have a great night, and we'll catch you next week at Martinsville, buddy.
Thanks, Zach. See ya.
All right, that was our third place driver here tonight of Chuck Sweet in the 75 machine. He was able to pressure for that lead multiple times, just not able to get it done. The driver, though, in second, looking for 3 in a row entering tonight, wasn't able to accomplish it. But what a night it was for Steven Stimpian. Let's hear from him in the 81 machine. Hey, Steven and Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Zachary, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, but I tell you what, man, what a tell of 2 stories there for you tonight's race, man. Able to start from that pole position, had the early wheel spin, losing the lead, and from there it just seems like you were trying to find your feet there throughout the first portion of the race, and it seems like something clicked there late in the go, and able to get that pace back in the 81, man. Kind of take us through your night, because I'm sure it felt like probably up and down there for a few moments.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head right there. Tale of two halves there. I think it took me about 70, 80 laps to finally figure the track out. First time running here, so got the pole. I don't know how I did that. Especially just couldn't figure the track out most of the practice. I was playing with a bunch of settings and just couldn't figure out. I wasn't comfortable going in to the race, so take a miracle on the pole. But happy with the second place. I did not see that coming. I feel like that's a win after the first half of that race.
Yeah, man, it was definitely a good rebound nonetheless there after, like you said, the first half not going the greatest for you. But, kind of what clicked for you there at the end, because it seemed like, it was about lap 90, around 100. It just really seemed to start clicking for you, and the pace was really coming back into your favor there, man. And even, able to get there's the second here late in the going and pressure Whitley for that win. I mean, you definitely had to find something as this race went on.
Yeah, just worked a couple different lines. Obviously, what I was doing the first half of the race wasn't working for me. I think I was just driving into one too hard, too low, and moved my lane up to the middle. Was able to get a better run off halfway through that race. And, I could tell I could tell it was working because I cut down their lead on me from like 2.2 before that caution to like I think it was like 1.6, 1.5. So obviously just kept going with what I thought was working. And then that caution came out, so knew I was gonna at least have something for him. Obviously couldn't make the pass. It's just so hard to keep it under control coming off the corner. I got into one and middle of 1 and 2, much better than Whitley, but I just drive off on both 2 and 4 was very difficult tonight for me, at least.
Oh man, I tell you what, you definitely made it work. Able to bring home second after Aaron tonight with the points lead. Going to bring it home in second here tonight. It's been a heavyweight title battle between you and Mark Whitley up to this point. Next week, though, we're at the paperclip, buddy. How do you feel about heading off into there for some short track beating and bang with the next gen car?
Looking forward to it, man. I love Minesville. Driver's track, obviously. Probably gonna be sweating just as much as I was tonight because had my hands full most of the night. Probably gonna have the same thing next week, but looking forward to it. Thought about putting the bumper on Whitley tonight, but it's just too early in the season to do that right now. But we'll continue the season, get my top fives and some wins, and see what happens. Hopefully, it was a good show for you guys tonight.
Well, man, it definitely was a good show for us nonetheless, buddy. So congrats on second here tonight, Steven. Before we let you get out of here, man, anybody you want to send a shout out to in that 81 camp?
You guys, as always, put on the show week in, week out. It's a great show every night, every week with you guys. Whitley, obviously, congratulations to him getting the win. And the league, to only have 1 or 2 cautions with a setup like that, commend those guys because it was difficult driving that car tonight. And obviously, my dad out there watching, love you, Pops, and my fiance, and my beautiful son there hanging out. Love you both. And my teammate, Dave Bush, hopefully get him back going on the right track next week. It's a tough night for him. And Hunter, I haven't talked to Hunter, so I don't know where he is, but take it to Minesville and hopefully get this baby in win number 3. Try to keep that heavyweight title going with Whitley. Exchange blows.
Yeah, man, it's been fun to watch up to this point. We'll have to see what happens in Martinsville, man. Congrats on second here tonight, Steven. We'll catch you next week, though, buddy.
All right, you guys have a good week.
You too, man. All right, that is your second place driver of Steven Stimpian here tonight. But let's go ahead and move on to the driver, third win of the season for the 77 of Mark Whitley, your 2-time defending series champion. What a drive it was for him. Let's hear from your race winner here tonight from Gateway. Hey, Mark and Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Got you loud and clear, Zach.
Well, I tell you what, Mark, what a hard-fought battle it was tonight, man. I mean, if someone just looked at the stat sheet, they'd say, man, the 77 had a dominant night, but it did not come without having some pressure, man. Take us through your night because it was pressure-filled. You had the 77 of Chuck Sweeten there really all night there with you, right on the bumper, making sure you were pretty much on your P's and Q's at all points, man, and you kept it up front. Just how did you do that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty stressful the whole night. That long green flag run we had, I stayed out a little bit longer trying to get the fresher tires, and it worked out. My tires are way fresher. I kind of blew up there and got around them, but it's like as soon as I got by them, they flipped the light switch, and my tires became even with them, if not, I don't know, even a little worse because I pulled away a little bit, but then all of a sudden he was on my back door the whole rest of that run, and it was just about hitting my mark, staying consistent. Every now and then I might overdrive it a little bit, but the outside was more of a dominant line here tonight. So as long as you didn't overdrive it too bad, even if they got up under you, you could get the run off. And it was just, getting on the bottom, it was really pinched off. So I knew anytime they got underneath me, I just kind of just tried to make sure I gave them enough room, but not too much room. And I don't know, it was white knuckle the whole time because, I mean, yeah, I might have led 100 and almost 20 laps tonight, but it was way closer than that. I mean, any one mistake, hiccup, any of us were there. I know Yara was leading it. He was kind of starting to walk away from me a little bit, and I don't know if he got in the wall or what happened at the beginning of the race, but then it was just about hitting marks, hitting your marks, and just parking the car pretty much perfectly in the corners where, I mean, unless they ran through me, they won't know whether they're going to get a good run off of me. But it was a pretty fun night. It's only probably the third time I've ever ran this track. Second time with a stock car. So I actually kind of like how 3 and 4 races, but 1 and 2 is another story. I'm not really a big fan of how that is, but anytime you come out here on track you're not really familiar with and give it a good hard run, no mistakes, and come out with a win, that's a good night you can be proud of, I think.
Yeah, you definitely can be, man. It was fun to watch, like you said. The stat sheet I showed you said led that many laps, but it was a lot closer. And it came down to definitely not making any mistakes here tonight, man. And able to get that third victory of the season. I told Steven Stippian turned into a little bit of a heavyweight battle there between you two, hitting back at each other each and every week with wins. He had 2 in a row coming in here tonight. You started with 2 in a row before that. I mean, now you get the win back in your column, man. We go to Martinsville, where I know you're a good short track racer. How do you feel about entering Martinsville? You think you can go for another back-to-back scenario here?
Yeah, we're definitely going to try. I know Martinsville's always been one of my favorite short tracks. Hopefully we'll go in there and give them hell. So I think we're going back to the next gen car, so that should be interesting. Those cars, they're a lot more fun on the short track, so we'll see how it goes there. I know it's going to be tough. Stympian's good everywhere, and especially short tracks, he's always pretty good. And Martinsville, all it takes is somebody just locking up the brakes one time, and you'll get sent through the stratosphere. Just ask Denny Hamlin how that happens. But we're going to give it all we got, and hopefully we can come away with another win. That's the main goal right now.
Yeah, man, it's going to be fun to watch you guys battle out the rest of this regular season before we head off to the playoffs, man. Like I said, it's a heavyweight battle. I can't wait to watch it at Martinsville. So congrats on the win here tonight, Mark. Before we let you get out here and go celebrate this thing, man, anybody want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, first I got to give a shout out to my wonderful sponsor, Harpoon Designs, Brantley. He put together this awesome kind of military-themed Veterans Day paint schemes a little early. I think Veterans Day is on Thursday or Friday, but figured I'd come out here and run it one time. I know tonight's race was kind of military-themed sponsor-wise, so awesome work he always does on all my paint schemes, always making me look even better than I am. So if y'all just want to check him out, he's on Trading Paints, and he also does custom work. So go give him an email, and he'll give you something pretty fancy to run out here with these boys. And got to give a shout out to my family, always supporting me, always watching the streams, always behind me supporting me. And then give another shout out to y'all for putting on this broadcast. It should be pretty fun to watch. I know it was pretty stressful for me in the car, but it should be a little bit more fun to watch after the fact. I think Freaky Fast probably is the best broadcast out there, bar none, and always fun to go back and watch a race.
We appreciate the words, Mark. I tell you what, buddy, it wouldn't be a show without you drivers out on the track putting it on for us and giving us something to talk about. So congrats again here tonight, man, on your third win. We'll catch you at Martinsville a week from now. So congrats, buddy, and we'll see you in the next Gen Car next.
All right, guys, take it easy.
All right, everybody. That was your race winner, Mark Whitley, here tonight at Sim Racing's Unleashed Cup Series at the Worldwide Technology Raceway for the Salute Our Troops 200, brought to you by Budget Sim Boxes. As we pull up our race results, here it is. Mark Whitley, your race winner, able to win tonight's race here, get that third victory of the season. Second's going to go to our points leader tonight, and coming in here on a 2-race win streak with Steven Stimpy able to just come up a little bit short in that second spot. Third is going to go to Chuck Sweeting after 3 in a row podium finishes for that driver. Fourth's going to go to Brandon Hartwell. Fifth's going to be Brad Dell. Sixth's going to go to Michael Yarrow leading early after getting in trouble leading out front. Seventh's going to go to Dakota Bryant. Eighth going to go to James Bryant. Ninth's going to be Jason Adams. 10th place going to go to Mike Chamberlain. 11th's going to be Mark Koscheck. 12th, Benjamin Butler. 13th going to go to Larry Blair. 14th, Dave Bush. 15th, rounding out your field here tonight, is Robert Cheswick. As that was your race results here tonight from the Worldwide Technology Raceway. What a race it was, David. Man, oh man, it was some great action there as Whitley, under the pressure, able to perform and prove why he's a 2-time series champion here coming into this season.
Yeah, definitely. And, I think, Stippian said it that, these guys are in a championship bout right now, just, going blow for blow, getting the wins. Not both of them tied at 3 wins apiece now. So, it's just going to be interesting going into Martinsville, to see how these guys, handle that next car. But it was interesting to look during the interviews of these drivers talking about the difficulties of racing this track and the struggles they had coming into, turns 1 and 2 and the exits of 2 and 4. So they're all fighting the same conditions. And I tell you, Mark Willie did just a heck of a job of, fighting that outside line when those guys were going inside. So he put a great, game plan together to hold them off. And then, just a phenomenal job these guys did on this track. And just listening to some of these drivers talk about this is the first or second time they've been on here, and they did a fantastic job tonight.
Yeah, they definitely did. It sounds like they definitely had their hands full here at the Gateway Raceway. As it was slick and slippery off of turn 4 and 2, putting the power down. But it was Mark Whitley who was able to bring home that race victory. Congrats to him again on that victory. We'll see what he can do next week at Martinsville. Make sure you don't miss out all of our action here at Sim Racing Unleashed at Martinsville next week here on Sunday night. So you can hit that subscribe and bell notification button so you can be notified when we go live each and every time during the week, because we got some other awesome races going on throughout the majority of the week. So make sure you tune in here, Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as always, to catch your best racing action on iRacing on the interwebs. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to send it up to our producer, Robert Moyer Jr., to close out tonight's broadcast here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
All right. Thank you, David. Thank you, Zach, for great calling here tonight here with Sim Racing Unleashed. As congratulations to Mark. Like these guys said, he gets the win, but also Steven, man, it's a battle neck to neck, beating and banging. And as we roll more on into the season, I am sure that we're going to see some more beating and banging from these guys, blowing heads back and forth in a good competitive racing action here with iRacing.com, the virtual side of things. But with that being said, hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Our next televised broadcast will be tomorrow night with NISCC Truck Series as we go live at 8:50 with them guys. It's going to be fun to watch that kind of racing, as we got Sam Dyer and Zach Hall going to be calling all the action. So make sure you come out and root on your favorite driver, or come out and see if Mark Whitley, he also runs in trucks there too, so you can come out and see what he can do against them core group of guys on Monday night. But like I said, with that being said, we do appreciate everybody tuning in here on YouTube. You know what to do. If you go back and watch this replay, don't forget to hit that share button. Share it to your favorite social media platform of your choosing. We do much appreciate it. All the leagues do much appreciate it. And if this is your first time here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and you enjoyed our content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more of this awesome content that we try to put on week in and week out. But hopefully everybody enjoyed it, like I said. So with that being said, we want to say to everybody out there on a Sunday night, be safe the rest of your Sunday. Be safe Monday. Don't forget to roll your clock back if you haven't done it already. It's daylight savings time. Fall back, get an extra hour of sleep tonight. Yee-haw! I'm happy for that for work, and hopefully everybody else is too. But until then, we'll catch everybody Monday night. God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.